The MyHallam podcast is run by students, for students, as a place to discuss the student experience, and we will also give insight into the various events happening within Sheffield Hallam University and across the city. Hello and welcome to the MyHallam podcast. You're listening to me, Rogan Hall. I'm joined here with Joe Hannigan.
Hello.
And Connor Christian.
Hi, right.
And today the topic of the podcast will be our experience at studying at Sheffield Hallam. We've just graduated, really good grades. We're really happy. So we wanted to talk about what our overall experience has been from start to finish. So we all came from sort of different areas and different backgrounds. So we wanted to start this podcast off with why we chose Hallam. George, you want to start us off with why you chose Hallam to come and study your degree?
Yeah, so as we all did here, we all studied film and media production, and I came from doing media at GCSE and then film and media and English at college at A-level, and then obviously my next step was pretty generic route in going into uni. I had 5 applications to different universities. I had Sheffield Hallam, University of Leeds, Edinburgh, Lincoln, and Leeds Beckett, I believe. And I got offers to all apart from Uni of Leeds. And the reason I chose Hallam was mainly because of the abundance of facilities and resources that's accessible to someone on an undergraduate course. It's quite a lot for us. So doing film and media, we obviously, we're using cameras, microphones, all that sort of stuff, and we get access to a lot which usually you would expect to be reserved for higher level courses or postgraduate degrees. The second thing, which is obviously slightly more personal, is that it's quite close to where I live. So it made, even though I did get accommodation here and it's all like really good accommodation, which is the second point, it just made me like being able to go home a little bit easier, stay in touch with my family a bit more. It's a reputable university for creative courses as well. So there were no doubt about its reputation to me, and yeah, they were my main reasons.
Connor, can you share why you chose Sheffield Hallam?
Well, for me, it was one of those things where I never thought I was ready to move away from my family. We have a quite close-knit family. Obviously, like Joe, I got accepted into quite a lot of universities: Liverpool, Manchester, UAL in London, which I thought about for quite a while because one of my friends in college were going there. But ultimately, it was more of a more of a personal choice than it was for like looking into my future. Because obviously, I did 3 years at college rather than 2. I sort of took my third year to kind of reevaluate what I wanted to do, because at first I thought about doing music. I thought about going to Barnsley. They have quite a good music department there. But yeah, I think it was one of those things where I didn't think I was ready for it. I was really scared about university because I didn't think I was not intelligent enough, but like I don't think I was at the level where I thought I could be at university and get a good grade. Yeah. But I kind of, I come from quite a if you want to say, rough background, and it were never really pushed on me, school and education and all this stuff. It were more of a, do it until you think that you don't need to do it anymore and you can stop. But I was always supported by my family, and I think one of the main reasons for me was, like Joe said as well, I came down and I had a look when I'd finished college. I came to an open day down here, and I just loved the department. I came into stores and I just could see everything, and I just thought, cameras, and because I was already doing a media course as well at college, and our equipment were very basic. Like the mics were basic, the cameras were basic, and it was just like I saw that and my eyes kind of just widened, and I just thought, I've got to come here. I've got to use all this stuff. And I saw the mics, and I was just like, that's for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was just one of those things.
Yeah, so my journey is obviously a little different. I was 26 when I started this course. Just turned 26. I'm born mid to late September, and had a child at the time. And since I've had another, I've now got 2 children, and I knew that I wanted to. I knew that, but the career and the path that I'd chosen beforehand just wasn't in line with my passions, and I knew I needed it to be. So I went and searched for how can I get in the film industry here in Sheffield, because obviously this is where I live. It's where my children live. There's no immediate like plans to move, and I didn't want to commute. And Hallam offered this film and media production course, which gave access day one to all this kit, which is like what Connor was talking about quite specifically, in terms of he was overwhelmed by all the microphones, but for me it was more the camera side and the editing. The lots of editing suites stood out for me. So yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer in many respects. Like, you can either start off in the industry at the very bottom and hope that within 15 years somebody's seen you, or you can go and learn your skills day one in the university. And Hallam was the university that provided the equipment and the course that was in line with my passions. So yeah, that's why I chose Hallam specifically. So we've all discussed like the facilities that Hallam gives. And I mean, not just specifically for our course.
Yeah, that I was going to say, because obviously we all come from the same sort of background, so like the facilities are good for us. But so my girlfriend, she's doing a nutrition-based course. They've got access to like full kitchens and testing rooms and like just an abundance of stuff that I'm not sure the specifics, but like high quality, alt science rooms. And we've used some of the science labs for filming locations. And some of the equipment that's like there is, it's high grade stuff. It's like off limits and to us obviously. But and then I've at the collegiate campus as well. There's so many sports facilities, and there's like mock law courts for anyone doing law. So it's not just for creative courses.
Yeah, but
academic courses do have those facilities as well.
Some of the niche courses like jewellery making, the jewellery making in MyHallam has the largest collection of tools for making jewellery, and like even has some like ancient stuff.
I'm gonna say I didn't even know there was that course.
Neither did I until I was talking to somebody. Like, I work as a student ambassador in open days and stuff, and somebody else that was working there just had loads of rings on his fingers, and I asked him when, he was like, "Oh, I make jewellery," and I was like, "Oh, in your spare time?" And he's like, "No, on the course." And I was like, "Oh, that's the thing." And then he told me like the equipment that he can use. There's some medieval stuff of making jewelry, and there's really modern stuff. So like that's just one of those examples of how much resources Hallam has in such weird ways that you wouldn't realise.
It's weird how many courses there is here, how many different departments there is, the science labs, the buildings that we've got. Like, it's just incredible. Like that, and that's part of the point as well. Part of the process for me was like, there's all these big buildings where I'm from. I don't need to. It's a stone's throw away from my house. I don't need to go to these universities in Manchester, Liverpool, London. They're all brilliant universities, and I've been to most of them. But if you throw away what's on your doorstep, you're not gonna have a good time. And I think I know this. Knowing the city as well, it's so much easier on our course.
Yeah, like as well, because Sheffield is like how you put it a lot, Rogan, is that it's sort of like it's a city, but it's got like a village vibe.
Yeah,
like it's really like tight knit and stuff, and like the university is really well integrated into the city. So like we have studio spaces which is accessible to some of the courses as well, I believe. And literally just navigating through the city using all these different places, it adds like some sort of like, I don't know how to describe it, but like a capsule for students is sort of like in Sheffield.
Yeah, it's sort of like our own little like hub in the middle of the city,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Sheffield is definitely a student city with Hallam at the heart of the centre.
Yeah.
And especially when, like, obviously, you've looked at other universities as well, like, they don't feel as, like, integrated, like, and that's because Sheffield is, like, a little bit smaller scale, like, at Manchester and stuff, like, Manchester's obviously huge. I weren't aware that I were, like, around the university until I was there when I was, like, going to open days.
You know what, I was exactly the same. My friend, Nathan, did his degree in Manchester, and I went to visit him loads of times. And it's not as easy to get around in Manchester as it is for Sheffield. I don't know if it's just because I don't live there or anything, but he says to me that, you know, he's got pretty much one building that he stayed in the whole time. And whereas I can go to Cantor, I can go to Owen Building, and I know, like, where I can sit, where the nice spaces are, where the good edit rooms are and stuff like that. And I just think it's just, the experience that I've had has just been amazing. I don't regret not going anywhere else.
Yeah, definitely.
We've sort of mentioned that, like, Sheffield is a student city and what's available for students in Sheffield. So if we were to, like, talk to somebody considering to come to Sheffield, what are the pieces of Sheffield that you would recommend Sheffield for? If that makes any sense. Like, for example, for me, I love the different cinemas in Sheffield. Like, you've got some really, you know, old and quirky kind of cinemas, and then you've got your really high tech, like the Cineworld in Sheffield is the 4th biggest cinema in the UK. That's outside, and it's I think it's either the biggest or the 2nd biggest outside of London, and has IMAX and 4DX. So you've got all that, but then you can go to the Abbeydale Picture House, the complete opposite side of it, and sit in a really old auditorium.
It's lovely there too.
Yeah, or you can go to the Curzon, and it's like very quirky and stuff, and it's more of an experience to a cinema.
Yeah.
What would you recommend to people? Like, how would you sell Sheffield?
I think there's a lot of ways to sell it, a lot of different ways. For me, I think, like, one of the things that stands out is there's so much independent business. Like, you see, there's, like, obviously there's the main high street, you know, where you've got all your, like, generic stores, you know, like your Topshop and H&M and all that sort of stuff. But, like, there's so many independent businesses opening up now, and that's both, like, clothes stores, food, coffee shops.
Coffee shops, like,
Even
there's
shops
so many coffee shops.
Even shops selling, like, plants.
You know, that in Devonshire, there's just, like, a coffee shop every 2 minutes.
Yeah, literally.
And it's just
like it feels it just gives this, like, what we were saying earlier, this, like, village sense, like everyone's a community.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's really, like, tight knit, and
the amount of independent businesses that you see everywhere, like you got Depop Bakery and Tampa Coffee, and, you know, the brands that people don't know, but we all go to.
Like Street Food Chef as well.
Yeah, Street Food
like,
Chef. Like, where is that? You don't see that in Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, all
food,
these big cities.
The food scene's, like, pretty amazing in Sheffield. Like, there's constantly things opening up.
Fantastic.
There's a place called Commune.
Yeah.
So there's a new food hall, and then there's.
You heard of the cereal coffee shop?
Yeah,
you can
cereal
go in and
cafe.
just mix all kind of cereals from, like, America.
And you get, like, cereal mix as well.
Yeah, they'll chuck some ice cream in it for you.
Man.
It's crazy in there.
And another thing I'd say about Sheffield as well, which is probably, like, key for a lot of people at the minute, is, like, it's quite a progressive city. Like, it's very green, it's very accepting. There's, like, now, like, there's, like, the sort of vegan scene's really boomed in Sheffield a lot.
Oh, massive.
As well. Like,
massive vegan scene.
But not at the cost of, like, for other people's tastes who aren't really, like, there. You know what I mean? So, like,
have you been to Pedlar Market?
Yeah,
in Kelham Island.
Yeah.
So that's just, like, you know, you've got vegan stalls, you've got big massive burgers, you know, and no one's fighting against each other. You know,
no, it's
a
a
big
really,
community.
like, accepting place, and everyone's sort of working well together. And
the music scene's really booming as well in Sheffield.
Yeah.
So many venues, so many pubs playing live music.
There's always, like, events going on as well.
I feel like with Sheffield, there's a lot of hidden gems that you've got to go out and find yourself. There's not really a list of, like, oh, these are all the best independent places that you can go and listen to music, get food and all this stuff. You've just got to, like, word of mouth, find out for yourself, and you know, you'll find there's a lot of hidden gems, so it's not like you won't be able to find them.
There
Yeah.
is,
It's
yeah.
not that hidden.
It's like there's even from like a spiritual sense. There's like 2 cathedrals. There's a Buddhist center. You know, there's so many like Tai Chi meditation places.
Yeah.
Oh, the diversity is mad.
And
Because
like it's sort like, even though it's quite small and tight, like it's like cut up into a lot of sections where like, so you've got West Street, where you obviously might find like a lot of nightlife, and there's also a lot of restaurants on there. Exall Road, same, bit further out, but obviously for students going to collegiate or who are living on Exall Road, you've got a huge strip of shops, food places, bars, like classier restaurants as well. There's a few on there.
Oh, yeah.
Cocktail bars, bakeries, and just everything. And then obviously you've got like Division Street, where you've got your more indie shops and stuff, and then Fargate, where all the high street stuff is. So there's like so much going on in such a like small city. It's just like, it's a really, really nice place to be.
I feel like I'm a little biased when I talk about Sheffield because it's my hometown and I love it. I really do. I don't.
Yeah.
And I love the North. I love Manchester. I love Liverpool. But and I've been to London many times, and I like it down there as well. But I just think there's something different about Sheffield. There's something. It's like, it's so hard to explain. It's like, it's got all the best things that you need with all the cheapness of the North, and we've got independent breweries, and we've got like independent food places and independent farms and stuff like that. It's not like, it doesn't fit. Nothing in Sheffield to me feels manufactured.
No, and it's getting a lot more that way, because I know that like there's a lot of shops, like high street shops, sort of like shutting down now, isn't there?
Yeah.
On Fargate,
Yeah.
there's like, and like again, independent businesses are taking over, and that's partly times we live in. A lot of people are more entrepreneurial, but you can really see it sort of shining in Sheffield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's loads of startup companies, and back to Sheffield, Hallam like offers a lot of opportunities through like enterprise and stuff for you to get set up, and I think that's why we find a lot of quirky and new businesses coming up. Sheffield also it's got 2 big football teams,
Which is, one is now Premier.
Yeah.
Premier League football team.
And I live literally about, a quarter of a mile away from the stadium.
Yeah,
if that.
so do we too.
Yeah, you can bag yourself an accommodation right next to the stadium.
Yeah. And you get discounted tickets as a student.
And it's a good day out as well.
Yeah.
You know, even if you don't support a Sheffield team. I mean, United are in the Premier League now, so most people that support Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, they can go and watch Premier League matches, and that's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
If you're a football fan.
Yeah.
But it's one of them. If you want a little bit of history, you can go down to Hillsborough, and they've got the memorial outside. They've got an amazing stadium tour as well that shows you all the history and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you've got EIS as well. So if you're interested in boxing, you might be able to catch Anthony Joshua training. That's where he trains. I know a few people who've copped him.
Yeah.
No, I haven't sent it to him, and Nando's. He comes in all the time.
Yeah,
Loves it.
I'd imagine he does, although he might be recovering for a little while after the last one.
Bit of a sore one though.
But yeah, while we're talking on sports, there's ice hockey as well. Ice hockey is huge in Sheffield.
Oh, yeah.
The scene is mad. I don't even know, like, for me personally, it's not, because I never grew up with a parents that wanted to take me to ice hockey, but like everyone from school and college, and they'd all go to Steelers matches. They follow Steelers everywhere.
I've been to a lot of games, and like before I ever first went, I was like, I'm not really interested in ice hockey.
Yeah.
Go to an ice hockey match.
Oh,
and you'll want to go like every single time they're playing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
I'm
unbelievable.
I'm not even that big of a ice hockey fan. Like I like the sport. I like watching the varsity, and I've been to a few matches, but when I've gone, I've had such a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I don't go more. Because then the tickets are like £5 sometimes.
Literally.
It's crazy. And then we have the Lyceum, we've got the Crucible, huge theatres, like professional theatre productions, literally on the doorstep, across the road from the library, from the Hallam Library. It's all so close together. And then you just jump. You've got Norfolk Park at the back of the train station. You've got Endcliffe Park along Ecclesall Road.
Botanical Gardens.
The cemetery. I'm not even naming it. even half the amount of parks that
The
are in
greenery in
Sheffield.
Sheffield is amazing for it being a big city.
And
Was it
literally
fourth or fifth biggest city in England?
Is it?
Something like that. I think so.
It's quite
We've got
surprising.
London, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, Sheffield. I think
Okay.
fifth or sixth maybe. But we've got so much greenery.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
There's woods, forests.
15 minutes, you're in the Peak District.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's just
Literally.
I can see cows from my house. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. You have a really busy city with loads of opportunities and loads of student jobs, and it's really vibing and vibrant, vivid. Got loads of art, music, everything, and then you've got the complete the village life. You know, the peaceful villages in the Peak District, and it's such a diverse place and culturally diverse as well.
Yeah.
Oh, so much.
Yeah, I really couldn't recommend it enough. Just before we sort of finish on this podcast, if you could recommend like the one place you've got to visit when you come to Sheffield. For me, I'm going to say something quite offbeat, and there's a Canadian coffee shop called the Cabin,
Oh,
and I love the Cabin.
Oh, it's so
And you get the best waffles or pancakes ever. And there's a challenge as well that very rarely gets completed because it's so big. It's great. If you come to Sheffield, it's at the bottom of the moor. The Cabin, it's family friendly. They've got toys for kids and that in there, and you know you can just eat yourself stupid on pancakes, and it's great. Yeah.
For me, it's a bit of a hard one because there's so many places that I love. If you're more of if you like more of the kind of an outgoing scene, the more of a chilled kind of like pub night out where you just have a few beers with your mates and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I'd recommend Kellam Island
Okay.
to anyone
Yeah.
because it's just full of not only just drinking spots but food places. And the food places there are amazing, like Pedlar Market. They've got Cutlery Works down there.
Yeah,
Mm.
Cutlery Works is
Fantastic place
amazing.
to go for drinks and for food. There's a little tiny pub called Pina around there. You ever been to Pina?
No.
They do these things called Pina pints, and they're £4 a pint, and it's absolutely great in there. It's just fantastic. But yeah, definitely Kellam Island. Go and walk around Kellam Island. It's a fantastic place down there.
I'd probably second Connors, to be honest, but more generically, just find out all the different independent food places and just try them all, and support local businesses as well, because there's so many in Sheffield. So there's countless places you can try. But again, mentioning Cutlery Works, Commune, all the sort of areas around Castlegate, and then even I'd say as well Ecclesall Road. You know, whether it's for a chilled evening or before you want to go out and go for a proper night out. But that's everything's equal to me because everything's really, really good, and I couldn't recommend
The pubs on Ecclesall Road, especially Nursery Tav and
pub quizzes in Sheffield. There's a lot of pub quizzes.
oh
you
yeah,
can go to.
every pub's got a pub quiz.
Every pub, yeah.
So thank you very much for listening. I hope we've been able to express our love for Sheffield in an easy to digest way. I've been Rogan.
Joe.
I've been Connor.
Thank you very much. Bye.